You're listening to Behind the Mic.
Welcome to Behind the Mic, or welcome back to Behind the Mic. I'm your host, Jalise Mooney, and how have you guys been? I am living my best life. Currently, I'm in Washington, laying in a blanket that I crocheted, drinking coffee from beans that I harvested. That last part may or may not have been a lie, but it feels that way. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. Trying to convince my friend to let me stay, but she has greater plans than me staying with her in Washington forever, which is understandable. But I'm loving my life, guys. I have to move out of my state. I just can't imagine going back to Arizona, and I'm not. I still have like another month to go. I'm actually leaving Washington today to head to Portland. So exciting stuff is happening. I literally just can't wait. This trip has been so fast, but so nice. My friend that lives in Washington is literally one of the best humans in the world. One of those people that even if you don't talk to 24/7 or maybe go months without talking, it's like one conversation and it's back to basics, baby. She's the sweetest. So shout out to Malia. Thank you for letting me stay with you. I will be back if you'll have me. But we're going to head to Seattle today and check it out because I've actually never really hung out in Seattle. Maybe hit up Pike's Place like a basic bitch. Going to like the Space Needle thing would be pretty cool, but I don't really know what exactly the Space Needle is. Like I know what it looks like, but like what is it? Why do we have that? So maybe I should go to that, figure that out. But then I'm hopping on a Amtrak train vibe and heading to Portland. So pray for my safety, wish me the best of luck, but also wish like a rom-com type of interaction on me, please. That would be so much fun. I think I spend every moment outside as an opportunity for a rom-com moment to take place, but it usually doesn't. But on a train, that would be iconic. I kind of think of Polar Express, so I'm like, do we get hot cocoa? Is it like a plane where you get snacks? Or should I bring my own snacks? Can you bring snacks? I guess these aren't questions I should be asking you. I should look that up though, because I'm like, can I bring snacks? I get so hungry. I'm trying to think of more things I've done, but I've lived a pretty zen life since I've been here. I started making a crop top after I finished my blanket. I'll try to post a photo of my blanket if I remember, but I don't think I'm going to finish the crop top in time since I have to leave today. But it was really cute and I'm proud of it. I think I'm a crochet queen now, so now I'm going to go home and order like 30 bundles and some crochet hooks and see what I can create. So comment below if you want to buy one of my pieces. Definitely going to open up my own business. We'd love to hear it. Oh my god, I just actually remembered something that's kind of spooky ooky, but I want to share because like who else would I share it with besides my best friends, which is you guys, in case you were confused. We went downtown in my friend's neighborhood. She lives in Bellingham. I hope she's okay with me sharing that information. Anyways, we walked downtown to go eat. I don't even know if it's called downtown. To me, it was downtown because it was down from the part of the town that we were. But we walked somewhere to go grab some food, grab some drinks. And then we left that place, walked to another place, and then we're like, okay, let's go grab some ice cream. Well, not me, because dairy. And someone told me that they had dairy-free options, which was a lie, but it's fine. So we were about to walk into the ice cream shop, and I noticed that this guy who just walked out of the ice cream shop is about to cross the street in the opposite direction of the ice cream shop. But then I feel like I didn't see him notice us because I was kind of avoiding eye contact because I could just see how he was like he was also going to cross it like diagonal, like not even like a normal way where you would cross a crosswalk. Like if you had to cross the street that way, like 1, 2, like he was just going to straight up cross it diagonally. But then he saw us. So I saw him like wean from a diagonal. I can't speak this morning to all of a sudden just being right behind us. And I was like, huh. Interesting. Does he know we're going right back into the coffee or ice cream shop? So then we walk into the ice cream shop and he walks back in behind us and he's standing like right behind us. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. So then we're like leaving the ice cream shop and he leaves with us. And so at this moment, I like pulled my friend to the side and I was like, this guy is following us. Like, not to be dramatic, but this guy is following us. There's no need for him to go back in the ice cream shop. He was just so close. It was so gross. and we were like walking, and then at this point he was like fairly close behind my friend's boyfriend, and we were like, what the hell? So he was like, I actually have to pee, like let's go in this place. And so we went to like this random jewelry shop, and thank God the guy like didn't come in. And we see him like go the opposite direction. We walk into the jewelry shop, we like tell him what just happened, and they were like, oh my gosh, like stay in here as long as you need. And we're like, thank you. So we were like looking around. Honestly, would have bought some stuff if that wasn't like 100 per, but they were sweet. And I was like looking at the windows trying to see if I could see anything. I couldn't see a thing. So we walked back out, and we could see him, but we couldn't, like he kind of walked back down the street and not in the direction that we were going to be heading. So we just started walking home, and we were all actually also like drinking. So we were kind of tipsy too. Took us a hot minute to get home for sure. But we finally get home. Everyone's like taking off their shoes, going to the bathroom. I just changed. I'm running back downstairs, and I'm about to take a seat. And I look out the window, and the guy is literally standing in our front yard. It's actually creeping me out just saying that, because I'm currently sitting in the spot where I first saw him looking out the window, and I was so scared. Thankfully, he didn't see me, and it's not that he like looked, I don't even know, like he was gonna kill me, but he wasn't wearing shoes, so I think that there may have been something up. But he was just playing on this thing that my friend has outside, and like he didn't see me, didn't really look at the house. So internally, I'm like hoping he didn't realize that was us. But then he kept walking. So that entire night, I was literally up in arms, terrified. It was honestly so funny, but so embarrassing. My friend was like, if you want, like we can do this, this, and this, because she's so amazing with all of that stuff. She knows, I don't even know what you would call it, but she knows all of her things when it comes to dealing with people with potential mental health issues or whatever situation we were about to be in. She was really nice and like trying to calm me down, but I like consistently kept looking out the window the whole night, was so on edge, like kept telling her to lock her door when like she was leaving, doing anything. And then we finally like went to bed, and the room that I'm staying in like doesn't have any locks, so I literally like barricaded myself. But we were fine. That was a few days ago. Nothing's happened, and I'm leaving today. So sorry, Malia. I hope you're okay. No, I'm just kidding. I think he was fine. I think it was just a weird occurrence. But that was like the craziest encounter of Oregon. Or, excuse me, Washington. We also went to a really good donut shop, had some bomb ass donuts, went to a pretty lookout point, and really just killed it. I don't even know. I'm living my best life. That's really all I have to say. But thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for listening to my rant. I don't think I have anything else to say before we get into the episode, so I feel like I should stop myself and just cuddle with my crocheted blanket a little more. So I'm gonna do that. I also have to introduce the artist before I even get started. So I guess, can I get a drum roll, please?
What's up, guys? It's Austin. Hi.
Thank you, Austin. That was beautiful. Yeah, bitches, we have Austin today. One of the sweetest gal pals I've ever talked to. I felt like I was talking to myself, and that may be, what's the word? Condescending, maybe? I don't even know. And you'd be right, but she was really awesome. And I like to compare myself to awesome people. So thank you, girl. Had the best time with you. Please come back. Let's hang out again. That was amazing. You can also head over to YouTube right now if you want to hit a quick pause on this podcast version of this episode and watch me and her chat live. Well, you know, not live, but live at the time of recording. And I don't know, stare at us if you want to. That's always fun, but it's up to you. But you can also just keep listening to this episode because you're gonna love it. I can reassure you that. And if you haven't heard of Austin, you're missing out. So I'm gonna stop myself from talking and let's get into it. Hello, Austin. How are you today?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Literally was waiting for this moment like this entire morning. I cannot believe we're finally here.
I'm excited. I'm glad that our computers are working and we're coming in clearly and we can hear each other. Everything's great. Everything's great.
Exactly. How has 21, how has 2021 treated you so far? Literally, I don't know how we're like already in May. It's been flying by.
It's very strange. I know. I actually was just thinking about that. I was looking through my journal at everything I've written, like song wise, for the past almost half. Is it half a year? Are we halfway through the year?
Honestly, basically.
In
Practically.
June. It just, yeah, it's speeding by. But I'm happy that, things are a little bit better in the world. Like we can, go outside and
Yeah.
see people, and yeah, it's been good. It's still weird. I don't know. How's it for you?
I know I don't even, I feel like, I don't know how like our minds could have like been warped so much within a year. Like obviously with everything going on, like now I look at things and I'm like, why are you not wearing a mask? Or like now I'm just so morphed into this mindset that I'm already gonna have to like get out of it and like try to go back to normal.
Yeah, we have so many things that have been thrown on us that we have to just kind of like deal with and absorb. And yeah, my roommate and I actually were just talking about that on a run this morning, like how people just aren't wearing masks anymore because they don't have to. And we're like, I still want to.
I know.
I'm still gonna, like,
I
don't
don't want
breathe
to
on
like go
my
around and people
face.
look at me like, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's weird. It's weird. The thing for me is like to each their own. If you wanna stop wearing a mask and you're vaccinated, okay, it's legal. You can do that, but just don't look at me like I'm insane for still wearing my mask and like protecting my own health. Like,
Exactly.
get out of here with that. It's so strange. I don't know.
No, I totally agree with that. Well, I am so excited to have you here today. I think we just have to get into it. So, to start
Yes,
us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where you're from, what it was like growing up where you're from, and maybe a little bit about your family?
absolutely. So yeah, my parents are kind of, they moved all over the place. They were from Chicago originally, and then they decided to plop down in Utah because they're big like mountain climbers and skiers, and they
Oh,
just love
yeah.
the outdoors. So they moved to Park City, Utah, and that's where they had me and my brother. And well, actually, that's a lie. I was born in California, but then we moved to Utah. That's where I grew up. I told you I was gonna ramble. And yeah, I spent my childhood, in Utah, like skiing and doing outdoor stuff. And I always took singing lessons from a very young age, and that's kind of like when my only passion my whole life is like I always sang and I always wrote songs. And eventually, when I graduated from high school, I just like followed that and went to school for music in Chicago. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, my parents and my brother are still back in Utah, so I go back and visit them, and we'll meet in like St. George and go hike around in Zion, and it's really cool. It's like I get the best
That's
of both
beautiful.
worlds. I don't have to live in Utah anymore, but I get to go back.
Yeah. I think it's always nice to have family like across the states because
Hmm.
then you just have like a nice free vacation whenever you please.
Exactly. Yes. And like I don't know. It's a cool duality. Like I have such a love for nature inside of me. Like I love to do like camping trips and I love skiing and snowboarding, but it's like I don't want to do it all the time. So
Yeah.
I get to just like pretend that I'm actually cool and go do it for like a weekend, but it's great. It works out very well.
I love that. So for like school when you were younger, you mentioned that like you like skied and did that stuff. Were you involved in like any extracurriculars or was skiing like an extracurricular in Utah? We don't have that
Yeah.
here.
No, yeah, people take it very seriously. There's actually a winter school for
Oh,
kids that,
wow.
yeah, that like professionally follow their, skiing and
Yeah.
snowboarding, and they'll go to school during the summer so they can just like ski all winter. It's really cool. That was not me though. No, I feel like I actually think about this a lot. When I was a kid, I was so adventurous. I did everything. I swear to God, I played every single sport. I did like gymnastics, soccer, dance, ski racing, like everything. And then the second I like, hit puberty or whatever and realized like I could hurt myself, I became afraid of everything and I just only sang. And I'm like the most unathletic. It's kind of tragic.
That's honestly, that is me, except I never did the first part. I just always was like afraid of hurting myself. So
Hmm.
I don't, I tried snowboarding once and ended up going like down the mountain, like on my butt. Cause I was just so afraid of falling.
To be fair, snowboarding is not the easy one to learn. Like skiing is,
It's so hard. I don't
you
know why
have both
people
of
told
your
me to do
feet.
that.
No. Well, yeah, it's like you're strapped into this one little piece of a plank, and it's
Yeah.
like, good luck, figure out how to
I couldn't
turn.
like hold
Good.
anything.
No. Yeah, it's very hard. So like honestly, good for you for trying even. It's not easy.
It was, yeah, that was probably the boldest thing I ever did. And I spent the rest of the day in the lodge just drinking hot cocoa, wondering why I spent all of this money to go.
Yep. That's the way you got to do it sometimes. I don't blame you.
I love it. Well, you said that you basically experienced like some interest in music from a pretty early age. Was there anyone in your family that was musically inclined or like anyone around you that kind of influenced you to go to that direction?
Um, so my parents are not musical per se. Like they don't my dad used to play guitar sometimes around the house and try to teach me, and I've never been able to play guitar, so I would like try and just give up.
Yeah.
But my parents both are huge music lovers. Like they go to concerts and outside like festivals, and I grew up just with, you know, music constantly playing on the record player, and um, grew up in a very musical household in that way. And then actually one of my mom's best friends from a long time ago would come visit, and she is a musician, and she used to sit down with me and help me like write my first songs on guitar.
Oh,
And I think that's kind of part of what inspired me to start writing songs. But the singing part, I think it was just because I wouldn't shut the hell up. I would just like sing around the house constantly, so my parents were like, all right, like let's put her in singing lessons so at least she's like in tune.
so it sounds good.
Right. So, yeah, I definitely think that like my parents and living in that household influenced my like excitement about music. But yeah, that was kind of my own thing to go off and actually like pursue it as a career. But then my younger brother actually is very heavily into music. He loves jazz music, and he's been in band. And
Oh, I love that.
yeah, and he's killing it right now. He like just actually, I saw him and he said that this group of older guys, I think they're all like in their 40s and 50s, and my brother's 21. They like brought him into the band so he could play with them, and he's so excited. And I don't know, it's just
That's
it's cool.
cool.
We're all very like encouraging, you know, and supportive.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I literally love that so much. See, I always wished that I like could sing growing up, and I can literally remember like my dad helping me write songs, but the problem is like I couldn't sing. So
yeah.
like how hard I tried, it just like that was just not it for me. But he always like he was always encouraging because he was just like anyone can sing. It's just a matter of like learning to hit the note. And I was like, you can keep saying that, but I don't think
Does
that's
your
for me.
dad sing? Is he like a
Yeah, kind of. He's like been involved in more of like rapping kind of thing, and he was involved in like a few like hip hop groups when he was younger. But that's like a whole nother story. I like still he says like little things here and there. Like he saw this person on tour and this person on tour, and I'm like, oh, so you're just hiding all of this. You
so
have like
you're
a
cool?
cool background. Like
When were you gonna tell me you're cool?
when
That's
were you
so
gonna
funny.
share and let me in on the
Yeah.
goods? That's fine. But yeah, I think it's important to have like a good, like definitely, I'm glad that your family is like back and like supporting you
Yeah,
through
like
all of
thank
this because it's
God.
definitely a very scary journey to have to endure.
I know, and like sometimes I have, you know, my I was gonna say my annual meltdown, but it's more like my weekly meltdown about what I'm
Oh yeah.
doing in my life, and I like call my parents and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and they're so supportive and they're so grounding, and they're like, look, you're only young once, you got to chase what you want, and it's just amazing. I literally could not do it without their support. So, thank you, mom and dad.
Sending love to the parents everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, are there any like actual musical influences that have inspired you then? Like any like artist, maybe old or new, kind of that have been someone that have kind of guided you and where you are now in your music journey?
Definitely. I mean, when I was younger, my parents always listened to the oldies, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that I call them the oldies, and like they're just they're not that old.
Like, but to us, it's old.
So rude. Yeah, like my parents always had, you know, like the Beatles and Santana on, and like
Oh,
Led
yeah.
Zeppelin and just all of like the classics, you know. And when I was younger, I hated that stuff. Like I would always be like, why are we listening to this? Like I want to listen to Kids Bop, and I want to listen to like that's now, or what is that called? Like now
Oh, yeah, that's
music.
now.
Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, Avril Lavigne and Maroon 5, and they had
Yeah.
like all of the jams, Hilary Duff, and so I was very into like that kind of music, and also just like through singing lessons, I was singing like Disney music, and I was doing a lot of musical
Yeah.
songs, and that was like very much my life. And then I got really into when Adele started first putting out music, I was like, oh my God, there's this whole other world of like singer songwriter. So I started really getting into her and like Ed Sheeran, um, things like that. And that's when I sort of started gravitating back to the music that my parents would play. Like I got really into the Beatles. I got really into like Crosby, Stills and Nash, into Fleetwood Mac, things like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's like such a musical journey. When I went off to college, that's when I got kind of involved with the studio that was very focused on pop music, and I didn't really have a great understanding of it. So I really immersed myself in like pop. Like we listened to like Carly Rae Jepsen and Ariana Grande, and then Julia Michaels started putting out stuff. And so I think I went on this giant musical arc to get to where I am with like this halfway between like pop and singer songwriter, I kind of feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many influences there for sure.
I know. You literally named like 1,000 amazing people.
I named so many people, and I bet you were looking for like two, but there you go. There's so many.
No. I love the long list, but I am gonna try to force you to pick. If you could pick someone to be your dream collaboration, who would you pick?
It's so hard because it changes all the time, and I feel like literally by the week, like I could pick somebody else, but I someday would absolutely love to collaborate with Jack Antonoff. I think,
That would
yeah,
be crazy. That's a
it would
really
either
good answer.
be it would either be really, really, really great and cool, or he would be like, I don't understand what you're trying to do here. It just wouldn't work. But I would love to try. I just think like his work in the bleachers is so different and so amazing. But then he goes and does like Lord's melodrama album,
Yeah.
and it's like, who are you? And Saint Vincent, the stuff that he does with her is so insane.
Wow.
I would love to see what that would turn into.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you mentioned him because I was just thinking about like Lord and like the work that he's done with. It's just I miss Lord, honestly. I think about her like every other day and I'm like,
She's got to come back soon. I mean, it's about time. I feel like any day now we're
oh,
going to get hit with like
just at
a
least one.
single. Just
Exactly.
one. Just one.
Exactly. Okay, that is a lovely answer. Wow, I'm blown away. That's probably one of the best answers we've gotten so far.
Thank you. I've spent many a days thinking about it because I
Like it may change next week, but
yeah, it might.
just let us know.
Yeah, I'll call you and we'll go in and edit this section, and
Perfect.
I'm sticking with it.
So, besides music, what other hobbies are you currently interested in? How do you spend your free time?
Free time, that's funny.
Isn't it such a concept?
Yeah, it's such a concept. To be quite honest, I don't have a ton of free time right now, which is a great thing because music has been going so well. So it's like most of my days I'm writing either for myself or with other people for pitch, for sync stuff. I'm just like constantly doing music stuff. And if I'm not doing that, I'm like doing, the back end stuff, like answering questions for interviews, or like just doing emails or editing videos, things like that. Um, but I've really, really, really been trying to just fit in time to like see my friends, because that's been keeping me grounded.
Yeah.
So actually, this week has been kind of crazy. I've seen more of my friends than I have in a long time because I've just been like forcing myself to do it, which seems
Yeah.
kind of like counterintuitive, but like if my friends invite me to the beach, instead of being like, I'm too busy, I'm like, no, I'm gonna go to the beach in the evening and I'm gonna watch the sunset and I'm gonna have a glass of wine. And it's been great. It's been like, giving me something to look forward to outside of like, the mundane, like day to day
Yeah.
tasks.
No,
So
definitely. I think that's important to like set those standards because I feel like, yeah, people who like aren't used to that, like wouldn't be used to like having to like kind of actually carve out time to like see people. And like sometimes you get to the point where you're so busy, like you really have to force yourself to be like, okay, I'm gonna leave the house this time and finally go see the people I've been avoiding.
and especially during quarantine, I feel like we got so used to like literally seeing nobody.
Yeah.
Um, and that became such a normal thing that like Yeah, it's been really nice getting back into that. But I'm so curious what kinds of stuff that you do for fun.
Uh, I'm like, you're looking at it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
This
You should love what you do, right?
this podcast is honestly a lot of fun for me. I spend a lot of time, like a lot of my free time. I just graduated college, so now I have like a lot more free time to focus on.
Congratulations.
Thank you, not to boast, but
That's huge. That's great.
I'm excited. I'm excited to step into the world, get out there. Yeah, COVID, I feel like I didn't even know what free time was. I really just did absolutely nothing. But a lot of my free time was really dedicated to like music. Like I loved going out to concerts and festivals. I would go out to at least like two or three different events like a month. And then with everything happening, obviously that stopped. So I'm like
Right.
more than excited that all of that is picking up, and I'm looking at all these lineups coming out and I'm just trying to decide which one to go to first.
I know. Oh my God. And it's crazy. Like, I feel like I'm in this weird space right now where I'm starting to meet the people that are like coming up in the industry. So they put out the
Yeah,
Lollapalooza line, and I was like, oh my God, I know like so many of these people. I have to go.
that's
So,
literally the lineup that I was thinking about because I was like I keep looking at that lineup again. I think every time I look at it, I see another person that I like didn't realize the first time.
yep, because it's huge.
It's huge. It's 4 days. It's huge. Like I have to go. Like I can't not go. I don't care if it's in Chicago. Like I'm gonna figure it out.
Hey, I mean, that's like pretty much the only festival. I think that's the only festival I've ever been to besides Pitchfork in Chicago. And
Oh,
it's a
really?
great
That
one.
sounds
It's
fun.
huge. Yeah. Well, I mean, I went to school there for 4
Oh
years,
yeah,
so
that's
I
true. That's
yeah.
that makes sense.
Every
I was like,
summer
that's
I was
so
like,
I'm like all the way in Utah. Just
I know. No. No,
that's
no.
awesome. I love that. I went to Gov Ball in New York like the year before COVID, and that was actually like the
Insane.
best festival I've ever been to.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go. It's just like I get it. I get why festivals are expensive. They have to be, but they're so
But they're so
expensive. It's like a whole
and that
excursion.
on
Like I
top
have to
of like
save.
traveling, and then if you have to stay somewhere, it's like it's actually so much. That's why I always try to get like huge groups to go with me because I'm like, I cannot actually pocket this myself.
Right. Like let's get a huge Airbnb. I know. I'm excited for things to get back to normal. Oh my God. I'm like festivals. Ah.
Exactly. Okay, so for those who haven't heard your music yet, how would you describe your sound? We kind of talked a little bit about it, but just elaborate a little bit more if there's still a little bit of confusion for them.
Right. How would I describe my music? That is a good question. I don't know. I would say I'm definitely experimenting with new kinds of production as I get further into my artistry and the next stuff that I'm coming out. Like it's a little bit weirder, but I think that I always gravitate towards very pop top lines. So no matter what kind of like production you get from me, it's always going to be in the realm of pop. But I've also been experimenting with diving deeper into lyrics and like this is not answering your question at all.
No, I
But
love it. Keep going.
I just I don't know. I feel like I'm always growing and expanding what I'm doing with my writing. And it's probably going to be ever changing, but for now, it is very pop with deeper lyrics and weird production. I don't know. It's just music. You should just listen to it. I feel like that's the best way to understand my crazy ass. I don't
No,
know.
that was a good description. That's
Was
basically
it?
that's me when people are like what's your favorite kind of music? I'm like, I don't actually
Kind
know
with
because I
lyrics
everything.
and sound, that kind of
The
music.
stuff that like makes the sound and it's like good,
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
like
that's
not
cool.
bad. It's like good. Yeah. I get you.
Speaking of bad, your first single was
Ooh.
titled Bad.
It sure
Um,
was.
what was running through your mind when you were creating that song? Like, how did you feel to finally have it out?
Okay. Well, so we're going to talk about bad. We're going to talk about the whole
The whole
first
shebang.
EP that I put out. Yeah. So basically, when I was in Chicago and I was in school for music, I was working with the studio all the time and constantly like writing songs for other people. I was demoing records for other people, and working all the time. But I would tell everyone like, "Hey, I'm an artist. I'm a singer," and they'd be like, "Cool. Like, let me hear your stuff." And I'd be like, "I have no stuff to show you. Oh my God." So I really, really wanted to put out at least some sort of like song or a body of work. So I sat down with this producer who I was working with at the time, who was amazing. He did, work for, he did work on like Lady Gaga's record, and he was working with some really cool people in the scene at the time. And I was just like honored that he even like took the time of day to like hang out with me. But we sat down and we made, I think it's 6 songs for my EP that I felt, I was connected to in that moment. And the first song that we put out off of that project was called Bad. And I wrote it about this like relationship that I was in at the time, where I started having feelings for this guy as he was like in the process of moving to a different state. And it was like, this sucks.
Oh no.
But it was exciting because it was, the first music that I was ever putting out as an artist, as OSTON.
Yeah.
But looking back, it's like, I feel like since that time I've grown and my music has changed so much, and I don't ever think that I would put out a body of work like that ever again. But at the same time, like, that's kind of the point, right? To like constantly move forward, and you can't always love the stuff that you did when you were younger. So I don't know.
Definitely not. I think that's the point, is to just actually look back at everything and be like, wow, I allowed that to happen and it's fine. We move forward and we digress.
Yeah, and to look at it and be like, I've grown up so much since this point in time, and I've learned so much, and I've improved. And I think that's the best thing I can say about that project, is that it got me, it helped get me to where I am now, and I'm so grateful for that.
I love it. Well, you recently also just released a collab with Jordy titled How to Feel Human. Can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration for that and how it was working with Jordy?
Absolutely. Yeah, we wrote that song, How to Feel Human. So we wrote How to Feel Human, I think it was about a year ago. We were in Chicago. Jordy was visiting Chicago, and we were at my my boyfriend's studio, who is my producer on a lot of my stuff, and we collaborate all the time. It's great, and the three of us have like a really great dynamic. So we were hanging out at the studio, drinking some wine and getting a little sappy, and just talking about the state of the world, and how when you're younger, a lot of the times it feels like your parents can kind of solve any problem. Like, I specifically remember when swine flu was a thing, I was freaking out because I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm so nervous. And my mom was like, look, you have time off of school. Let's like go camping in southern Utah and like get away for a little bit, and everything's fine. And I felt so much better. But then in the pandemic, it's like, you call your mom and you're like, I'm scared. And she's like, I'm scared too. I don't know. Like,
because no one knows anything at this point.
No one knows what to do. But on a larger scale, it's like, as you grow up, you start having bills to pay. You have to switch over off of your parents' insurance. You have to live outside of your childhood home. And growing up was hard. So we started talking about all of that. And this whole song kind of just came flowing out of how hard it is sometimes to be human and to grow up, and just what comes with that. And yeah, it just, me and Jordy both wrote our own perspectives on the verses, and kind of just realized that neither of us wanted to keep the songs for ourselves. We wanted to share it together, and now it's out in the world, and I love it. I'm so proud of it, and I love Jordy, and I love working with him, and yeah, I'm excited about it.
Lovely. I did take a peek at the song before this, and I just have to say, if you haven't listened to it, ladies and gentlemen, you have to like pause, come back, go listen to it, and then we'll talk again. But it was honestly so beautiful. I do agree. Like, I think you guys needed to blend together, because I think it made like a perfect story in the end.
Yeah, it's kind of weird writing songs with people who you just admire so much, because every song that we write, like, sometimes for me it's like, well, I want your voice on this. You're so incredible. So I definitely don't think it's the last like collaboration that we'll ever do, but we'll see.
Well, you also have, I'm not sure if it's a part of it, but you also have an EP set to release this summer. Can you give us maybe a little bit idea of what to expect from that, or how the journey was creating it?
Definitely. It's been a long time in the making for this one. I've been through So much. I mean, we all have, of course, with this last year and the pandemic. But just like personally, my music journey has been crazy. And I wrote a ton of songs and I picked songs for a project and then I got rid of songs and I came back to old ones. And it seems like this project in particular took me so long. But now it is done and I handpicked all the songs that are going on the project. I'm so happy with it. It's going to be an 8-song EP, and the last single from the project is going to be coming out pretty soon, and then we'll be announcing when the EP comes out, and I'm just really excited. It's like, you know, my baby. I've spent so much time on it, and it's just I'm ready for it to finally like be born into the
Yeah, no, I
world.
don't blame you. We are
Yeah.
so excited to hear more about it. You'll have to let us know so we can mark our calendars. I'll let all of all of our listeners will do it together. But before we let you go, we're gonna do some quick rapid fire fun questions. So whatever comes to mind, I know you've been
Okay.
waiting for this moment and get excited.
I'm ready. Hit me.
Yeah. If you could be one Disney princess, who would you be?
Um, okay, is the girl from Wreck-It Ralph considered a Disney princess?
No,
Her
but
name was
I will
like
count it.
Vanellope, the race car driver. That's so cool.
She's cute. I mean, she's like a princess of the arcade. So like, yeah, right?
Or okay, if you want, yep, that's my answer. I'm not changing it. That's my
Okay,
answer.
beautiful. Penelope, you are. What is one thing you can't live without?
um, ooh, I was gonna say mushrooms because that's my absolute favorite food. Or oh, well, maybe I should do cheese. I can't. Well, cheese and mushrooms, they're equally like a very important part of my diet. I would be very sad.
That is so, I feel like I've never heard anyone like I love mushrooms, but I feel like I never hear anyone praise about mushrooms. So I'm like, I'm so happy to meet you today. Wow,
I
thank you.
don't know. I could have said my phone. That would have been more sensical, but
That's what I thought you were gonna say, but I mean, mushrooms, who can live without them? Let's be real.
lots of people, but
Yeah.
not me.
If you could move anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
I would probably move to somewhere in France
Okay.
for a while because I studied abroad in London, and
Oh,
I was going to say London because I absolutely just love it there, but I took French for 8 years in school, and I just haven't been practicing it at all because I don't really have a way to. And I think if I finally like up and moved and just did the
immersed
thing and
yourself.
yeah, and like immerse myself in the environment, maybe it would come back to me, and that would be so cool. And it's beautiful there. So
That's very true. Favorite movie of all time?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Love it. Morning person or night owl?
Oh, I wouldn't call myself a morning person, but I function in the morning a lot better than at night. If I'm sleepy, good luck.
Okay. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Well, that was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing and sitting down with us today, Austin. Can you let the people know where to find you and your music?
Yes, you can find me at Austin Music on most places, but it's spelled like Boston without the B. So OSTON Music, on all of the places, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, on the YouTube, and then my Spotify and Apple Music are just Austin. So
Beautiful. It's
that's
been such a
me.
pleasure having you here today. We are looking forward to that EP. Thank you again, Austin. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to be here and ramble to you.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Wasn't that amazing? I told you you were going to love every single second of that interview. And I bet you did. Thank you, thank you, thank you to Austin for taking the time to sit down and talk to me. Do you see how sweet she is? She was literally asking me questions. Like, who cares about me? That was so nice. Can't wait to hopefully do that again soon. Check out the show notes posted for this episode, and you can easily find the links that she was mentioning for all her socials, or go ahead and check her out at Austin Music on Instagram and Twitter.
My oh my, I can't believe we reached the end of this episode. Every single time we get this far, I'm like, how did we get here? But we're here. You did it, I did it. We did it. Yeah. Head over to @behindthemicmail and check out the photos attached for this episode. Embrace those, love them, give us a follow, give her a follow, and stay up to date with our episodes and our postings. You also may have noticed this is a special release. It's because I love her so much. I had to get this out ASAP Rocky. And hopefully you will be seeing me next Monday. It is our 1-year anniversary, no big deal, but I'm hoping that I can get everything together by then. And also with like just getting into town in Oregon, I'm hoping that, you know, the fans aren't going crazy already. But hopefully you will be hearing from me next Monday. If not, next Monday for sure. And if I have to do that, I'm apologizing and prefacing now because sometimes life be getting crazy. But you will be hearing an episode from me. It's gonna be our 1-year anniversary, so we have to spend it together. Truth be told, it's so hard to decide what to do for a 1-year anniversary. I've never had this kind of commitment to anything. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure it out together. Thank you again for sticking around, listening to this episode. Thank you again to Austin. Love you, girl. I hope you're having an amazing day. I hope you all have an amazing day. Have an amazing weekend. Hope you had a safe Memorial weekend and have a good summer. Hags, this won't be the last time you're hearing from me, duh, but I have to close it off like it is because honestly, you never know when I come back. So with that being said, I love you. Stay safe, stay supporting Black businesses, stay supporting Black people, stay supporting all communities. Stop hating, stop being dicks. Let's be better. I love you, and I will see you all next Monday, hopefully, or next Monday. Okay, bye.
1, 2, 3, funky. My darling, I love you.